if a Jujutsu Kaisen anime only walks up to you and they show you this image to this image to this image with, gonna do a zoom in for you can see it, with, like, basically Bandit Keith from, Yu-Gi-Oh! They're gonna ask you, like, what's going on? Like, what's going on in Jujutsu Kaisen right now? They'll probably scratch their head and ask, how did we go from literally Gojo being broken like a plank to having Sukuna getting jumped by multiple people and seeing Yuji having, like, claws on his fingers? Like, here, I'll zoom in if you didn't notice. Claws on his fingers and all that. You know, Sukuna's no longer in him. He's gonna jump this man. It's just like, what's about to happen? And then we go into this comedic fight of Takaba versus Kenjaku. And it's just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell's even going on here? Like, to make this even funnier, like, here, I want to show you this panel. So there's literally a panel at the end here where you see Kenjaku, like, he opens up his head cavity. Like, look at this. It is so bizarre. Bro. It's just, like, what? Like, okay, let's dive headfirst into this. I've been wanting to talk about this ever since I read the chapter, and I'm just like, okay, let's talk about it. Because Jujutsu Kaisen has definitely been the talk of the town as of late. To the whole, you know, Gojo being turned into a plank and him saying I'd win, to getting folded literally by Sukuna, to just having, you know, this crazy stuff at the end of one of the chapters, you know, chapter 238, and then we got this. It's like, yeah, a lot has been happening, and that's not even including, like, the anime-related stuff with, you know, Shibuya, and how we have, like, all the stuff with the Yuji fight, to the animator drama, all sorts of stuff. So Jujutsu Kaisen has obviously just been talked about a lot as of late. It is definitely a huge topic, and, you know, a lot of people now are talking about this latest chapter saying they hate it. I have definitely seen a lot of people say that, and let's get into it, okay? So basically, from what I've been hearing on Reddit to Twitter and even YouTube, I have heard people basically saying that this is just an outright awful chapter, and apparently the leaks of the next chapter is awful as well, because it apparently is continuing this whole thing. And so let's get at it. Why are people saying this is awful? So, for one, taking a hard look at this chapter, or these two past chapters we had, it focuses on Takaba, I think I'm saying his name right, that is a minor character that was introduced in this arc, going up against an iconic character, Kenjaku, which you could theoretically say is the final villain. I know you can argue and say Sukuna is the final villain, but more and more as I see the series progress, I feel like Kenjaku is the final villain. But anyways, that's not the main point I'm trying to make. The point is that Kenjaku is a very well-established character that is someone that is just like, he's held as a huge, major, popular character up there with Gojo. Like, anyone that was, you know, an anime only or a manga reader realized just how much this chapter of, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen trended. It was everywhere. Nobody can escape the spoilers. I was spoiled. Everyone was spoiled. It was ridiculous. And it's clear because Gojo is a very beloved character. In this day and age, at least in modern shonen manga and anime, Gojo was very popular. Kenjaku is kind of up there alongside of Gojo. And so when you factor all these things in, people not liking the course that this chapter went kind of makes sense, because Kenjaku has always been a character that is serious. Like, he's serious. He has a little bit of a laugh, or, like, I guess, you know, he has a little playful nature to him to a degree, but overall, he is someone that is very serious when he's trying to fight an opponent, with this very malicious type schemes going on behind the scenes. He has shown emotion, etc., talking about, like, you know, how he was happy that, you know, individuals were helping out Yuji and all that, but overall, it's very clear that Kenjaku is not, you know, someone that would normally go into comedy, start laughing, etc. So when you see him, like, in this chapter, and he's doing, like, crazy stuff, like opening up his, like, head cavity and showing his brain and all that, it's like, what the hell? This is not the Kenjaku we know. But there is a few things to really look at this, okay? Kenjaku is an individual that we know, and even this chapter reminds us, that has been around for 1,000 years plus. Like, he's been around for a very long time. He's a very old individual, someone that has, accumulated a lot of curse techniques. He is someone that is just extremely powerful. And obviously, with time, he's going to have a lot of knowledge on things to, just random stuff. Like, think about us, okay, as regular humans. Right now, you that's currently watching this video, there's probably some knowledge that you know about something that's just so random and bonkers that is irrelevant. Like, it's not important whatsoever, but you know this random facts. Maybe you might know something about a fish. Maybe you might know something about how wall is dried, like paint on a wall is dried or something, like the reason why it has to be dried at a certain temperature. Random facts like that. I think everybody encounters stuff like this in their lifetime and accumulates this knowledge even if they don't want to. And in this case, Kenjaku is someone that has been around for a very long time. 1,000 years, hundreds of years. Hell, if it was just only 200 years, it would still be, a lot of knowledge he would have. So the fact that he's been around like 1,000 plus years, he's picked up on a lot of things. He's gotten to see the rise and fall of certain civilizations, etc. So he's clearly, well, I guess, in depth with a lot of different things. And comedy would make a lot of sense. You got to imagine, in ancient times, there was a lot of plays, people trying to put on, being like a jester and all that type of stuff. So he probably got to see this many times while he was just venturing through life, people acting like jokesters or clowns, etc. So he would be kind of used to seeing different, comedy and gags and stuff. So I think that this entire thing here does fit kind of in line with his character, that's just bringing out dredges of a personality or things that he knows that he just doesn't talk about. This is just another side of Kenjaku that we just really haven't explored, which I think is really cool. I like his character for that. I think that because he has just been around, he has so much knowledge that, we don't really get to see all of it because we only know what his plan is to just, like, some of the actions he's done in the current timeline of Jujutsu Kaisen. We don't know the overarching every little detail that he has done throughout his entire lifetime. But anyways, getting on topic to this chapter, though, yeah, people don't like this chapter because Kenjaku is kind of out of character. That's what people say. I don't personally agree with that full statement. I can understand why people don't like the chapter, though, and let's get into that. Well, as I've already shown, we had this whole Gojo stuff and all that, and this was just a few chapters ago. Like, this was chapter 236, we're on chapter 240 that came out this past weekend, and when you factor all of these things in, it's very clear why. It's such a radical shift in tone, even if we're not counting that, we're counting, this chapter 238, with, having, like, Yuji and them, like, jump Sukuna, trying to fight him, which we know that's not going to go well if Gojo got defeated. So it's like, we go from this to, this, it's like, yeah, it makes sense why people would be a little bit, like, turned off from this. Be like, huh? What's going on here? But, I don't know. I like this. I like this playful chapter. But I also want to point something out. The author of Jujutsu Kaisen does not like Gojo. Like, absolutely hates him. Like, legit hates him. And so, because of that, you got to imagine all those chapters, all those months spent writing Gojo, probably really upset the author. Did not like it. Gojo is fighting like a 4v1 pretty much. He was fighting the two people that Sukuna summoned, Sukuna, and then also the author himself. Like, Gojo was literally fighting God itself, technically, of the manga, which is just hilarious to think about. But anyways, the point of the matter is that you gotta imagine, all those chapters spent on Gojo that the author clearly does not like is went in author comments to say they do not like Gojo. And then getting into this is probably a breath of fresh air, and that the author is really enjoying this. Like, legitimately enjoying writing this, getting into some elements of Kenjaku that they haven't really got to explore. I feel like this is more or less just the author winding down and getting off of something that probably felt very tedious or unenjoyable to them for a very long time. But that's my 2 cents. I could be wrong there. I'm not the author, but I'm just going to take an educated guess. But dropping that there, though, overall, wild chapter, Jujutsu Kaisen, and I just wanted to talk about the stuff that's been going on. If you have not read it, I wanted to talk about it. But tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Are you excited for the next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen? Be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.